From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast of sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open a cold beer and let's get after. As always, we are rocking with that May Day Brewery beer, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Catch them every Thursday for bingo and Tuesdays for Singo with Ozzy. I'm rocking that the 10-year anniversary Toga beer.
Nice. That's going to be my next beer. I started out with a Daddy's Money. So,
all classic.
Yeah, I've been hitting that 10th anniversary beer for about 3 or 4 recordings now. So your boy had to switch it up a bit. Went with my personal one. You know, I don't know if I wouldn't say Daddy's Money is my personal favorite. It's the classic favorite. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I'm not, if it was like gun to my head and they're like, pick one real quick, I'm like, Daddy's Money. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to think about it. Like, think of all the crazy names of them and stuff.
Yeah.
I just know that one immediately. So, and I've been keeping mine cold like you've suggested, Bob. That's much better. That's much better.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm the same way with the redhead. That's my favorite beer of theirs. Today we are covering a bunch of news inside the NHL. We've got the absolute craziness of the playoffs and the first round to cover. We've got some news from outside the NHL. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon and Twitch to support the show. I've got the new Jedi Survivor game, so I'll be playing that on stream.
Sick.
For probably the next week or two, couple weeks. Super hyped about that. How are you this week, buddy?
Doing good, man. Just been hanging out. Stephanie is done with her, first nursing school semester. Apparently they call them years though. So she's a second year now. Hasn't been quite a year. So she's in year 2 of the first year. So, congrats to her, but really congrats to me and my sanity. So, that's been great, but I've just been hanging out, playing some, Xbox, chilling, watching playoffs, bro. It's been such good hockey, man. Such good hockey. What about you, buddy? How you been doing?
Doing good, man. Got back from another crawfish boil. My weekends have been absolutely slammed because we had New Orleans, then I had a crawfish boil, then I had Virginia for another bachelor party, then we had crawfish boil. This weekend, the wife and the sister-in-law and the sister-in-law's family, I guess my brother-in-law's family, they're all going downtown in Nashville. I'm joining them. We're going to go get some hot chicken and some beers. So we're just, burning the candle at both ends. But at least this one
sounds horrible.
Some fun.
Sounds
I guess they've all been fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
past
all
New
been
Orleans, past the New Orleans trip, I was like, shut it down for about 2 months. Everybody go home. I laid off workers in my body and stuff, man. I couldn't, I couldn't afford to pay them.
Okay.
Man.
I thought you were going to say you laid off workers at work.
It just didn't work. Yeah. I just had that authority. I was just like, you know what, guys, I had a good trip with my boys to New Orleans, but I'm not feeling it. So you guys are going to have to go home. No, it's like that SpongeBob episode where he pops up into my brain and people are all scrambling around working. Yeah, I had to let a few folks go. So, so I am not envious. I'm ready to do nothing this summer. Sometimes it's like, oh, I want to do a bunch of stuff and go a bunch of places. Man, this summer, I want to go nowhere and do nothing, and I will have succeeded. I'm going to come to your crawfish boil. That's it. That's all I'm doing.
But yeah, you were talking about Steph's, school and stuff. So I guess if she's, had a full year within a year, that means I guess she gets another birthday party, right?
I guess
that's
so.
how that
gotta
works.
double it up, man. Gotta double it up.
Yeah. she's gonna age like 8 years while she's in school.
I know, dude, and I'm gonna have to let her go. I'm gonna have to let her off at that point. She's gonna be too old. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna need a youth. You know.
But let's get a quick fit check. I just came in from working outside a little bit, so I just threw on the first Hawaiian I saw, and rocking a hat of a team that I can guarantee you will not lose a single playoff series this year.
No,
they're not.
no,
They're going to go undefeated.
They will not
in the playoffs this season.
I cannot guarantee.
It is, of course, a San Jose Sharks hat.
I cannot guarantee the same. My hat wise, East Nashville Brew Works. You know, so no, no danger in them winning a playoff game or series or losing one. But then I do something I normally didn't do. I like to usually switch it up. But I mean, apparently, it was good luck for them last time. So I went back to the old Panthers sweater and see if they have a little more luck. The Leafs haven't won a first round playoff series in 17 years until this year, maybe 14. When was
19 years? I think it was
19 something. When was the last time they won the second round playoff series? We had to have been longer than that. So that's just what we're gonna have to start talking about. We're just gonna start talking about that. I can't believe the Leafs. That Leafs hadn't even won a second round playoff series in 19 years. It's crazy. It's been 20 years since they've sniffed the third round.
I guess we were the reasons that the Oilers in Florida won after wearing those sweaters last week.
That's it. I guess we know the Edmonton's losing this time, buddy. Well, no.
Yeah.
If only one wins, then we'll know. Okay, it was the jerseys. If both of them lose, it was the combination of the jerseys. It had to be the love had to be given from both sides. So we'll see.
Yeah. And if by some freak old rule the NHL decides to replace Edmonton with San Jose, then we know it was us.
Oh my gosh, dude. That'd be too much. That would be too much power. It's like the Spider-Man thing. Like I would have Uncle Ben in my face, like you gotta use your power, and I will not. I will be immediately a villain. Immediately. Not like a slow fall to villainy. Like I'm just there. Like I'm superpowers away from being a villain. Easy money.
Yeah. I'm somewhat of a hockey fan myself. Let's move in now to let's move into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
43 points. I'm going to say that again. 43 points. That is the point differential between the Panthers and the Bruins, which now represents the largest upset in Stanley Cup playoff history for the best of 7 series. Absolutely insane. For a good bit of that series, it looked like Boston was going to, struggle a little bit, close it out. But then, wow, man, watching that game, Florida was absolutely just controlling everything. And I was sitting there with my family watching it, and immediately the people who really don't watch hockey, they were like, I don't understand why people pull goalies. It never works. I'm like, statistically it does work. Otherwise, these professional coaches wouldn't do it. And then, bam, it worked. And they're like, wow, I've never seen that. I'm like, well, no.
It's
you just don't watch, really.
Oh, right. Well, it's such a ridiculous thing to say because of literal rates of power play points. You understand that's a power play that has a terrible downside of the potential empty net goal, but also a power play with icing. You know what I'm saying? Like we keep the puck down here every time they knock it out and they don't get to change people out. Like that's an advantage, that's not really thought about by folks. But I mean, talking about why would you do it? Okay, first of all, this is game 7 of round 1 of the play. We're losing.
Yeah, well, you literally have
nothing else. So if we don't do it, we're going home. You understand. I don't have to I don't have to explain it to you, but you know, it's just crazy. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, even in a regular season game, I don't understand why you wouldn't. You know, like, I mean, I'm here to win, right? Like, we're losing.
My biggest
right
gripe is that teams don't do it soon enough.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I see teams do it with like 30 seconds. Like, you needed to pull that goalie at like 3 minutes left.
I'm talking it's 2-1 and it going into the third period. I'm talking I want the guy hovering, ready to go. We're 17 minutes. We got to pull him. We got to get him out of there. Let's get a goal.
Yeah. That's one thing I loved about the old NHL games, man. It's the first period, you're up 4-0, you pull your goalie just to start getting more goals.
The Panthers, you're right though, man. I watched that game 7 game. I watched game 7 of that series, and I look away for a little bit, and then all of a sudden Boston is up. But it was a very short amount of time. I mean, Florida pretty much controlled that game for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, the Boston's power play 1 was atrocious. I mean, Pastrnak, Marchand, everything. I think their power play 2 unit scored 2 of those 3 goals, right? Does that sound correct?
I think so.
But I mean,
that sounds correct.
You know, it was a good series by the Panthers. They did what they needed to do, and it explains exactly what we always talk about. That Stanley Cup playoffs, it's anybody's ball game. But we agreed, Bob, that they probably do need to redo the series because Boston,
yes,
had a historical season. So if I'm going to propose this, if Florida comes out and beats Boston again in a 7-game series, then, you know, we'll let it stand. But if they don't, then then you know, the gods have spoken. So that's all I'm going to throw out there to everybody.
That loss was almost as historic as that Reddit post.
Almost.
There's not much other news in the NHL. We're going to cover the playoffs in our main topic. So let's go ahead and move it outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
The NFL draft. Not a very exciting draft this year.
No, a lot of questionable calls
Bryce Young
too.
Bryce Young going number 1 overall. Man, the Alabama quarterbacks are just populating the NFL now. I think that's 6 starting quarterbacks now. I gotta say that, you know, obviously it's probably just a little bit of biasism because we are here in Nashville, but people are not happy about the Titans' Will Levis pick at all. I honestly, I kind of like it. I'm not against it.
No, I'm not against it either. I told you that I'm not big on Will Levis. I don't think a lot of him. I didn't think, you know, that he is I don't see a lot of what other folks see. But for that capital and for that opportunity to get that guy, I don't look down on that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like, it's not my guy. If you would have traded back up into the first round and took him at like 23 to 27 or something, I think, okay, well, that's weird. Why would we use capital to get there? But if he's sitting there, I mean, let's be honest.
100%.
Malik Willis has all the problems that we said that Malik Willis was going to have. A Liberty quarterback that, he's mobile, but he's not super massive. He's not super fast. He was a good 3rd round value last year, and he's not dead in the water or anything. He's a serviceable, you know, backup quarterback. But Will Levis has more NFL measurables, more qualities, more, more chances to become what an NFL team wants. And his big comparison was Ryan Tannehill. You know, I think that if you sit him behind, you think Levis is going in early. I think it's a good opportunity for them to, you know, let him learn behind Tannehill what he can learn and, you know, take over at a later date. So that's just my thought process.
Yeah.
Washington had a really good draft, man. I liked what they did. Liked the Titans tackle pick too, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good, especially they'll finally have a good left tackle.
Well,
Replacing
he'll
the
play right
absolutely,
tackle.
trash and
He
big for
will
no
play
reason
right
Taylor.
tackle. He will not play left tackle.
Well, they're yeah.
He's-
Hey, I'm making a joke about Taylor Lewan here.
I know. I was just telling you, he's going to play right tackle.
But yeah, no. So with yeah, yeah. With Will Levis, I think that he comes from uh, a school that plays a pro style offense. A lot of people said, why didn't we take Hooker, or why didn't they take Hooker? And said, I don't think Hooker is the answer. I don't think that's the. I mean I
We don't
think
have the
that Hooker's
personnel.
numbers were kind of stacked. Yeah. Like I think Will Levis will work. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be rookie of the year, but I did say that I think he'll replace Tannehill as the starter sometime between week 6 and week 8. I think he's got the size, he's got the speed. I think just overall he's a better quarterback than Ryan Tannehill is, and he's also cheaper at this point. And I think that Ryan Tannehill, Tannehill's going in the last year of his contract, and they need someone to get in there and take the reins of this team that 2 years ago everyone thought they had a Super Bowl window. I don't think anyone thinks that anymore.
No. I mean,
the Titans
they've
really
moved
pissed away
pieces.
their window, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, windows are so small and can be shut so quickly when one or two pieces get moved. Very surprising to see the Lions take Jamar Gibbs so high. That was a very, very surprising pick to me. Bijan Robinson going to Atlanta at 8. I still think he's the clear 101 in a dynasty draft format, but I'm much less interested in Bijan Robinson at Atlanta than I am somewhere, say, I don't know, Chicago or even Minnesota, and they're getting rid of Dalvin Cook. It's just I don't know how it's going to work out there. But a lot of skill players, really bad landing spots. JSN going to Seattle kind of hurts his value a bit to me with Geno Smith and DK and Tyler Lockett already there. There was just quite a few, folks that went to places that is, good for them and good for the team, but specifically not great for dynasty football players like ourselves. I'm sorry, dynasty football coaches and general managers. We don't play. We just coach the team.
Yeah. Yeah. One pick that I really like from the Packers is Luke Musgrave. I think that if he can come back from from the knee injuries that ended his season, I think that he's a big, tall, very extremely fast tight end.
Okay, that's right.
Who I think Jordan Love. I think that could be Jordan Love's favorite target up there. I think that he reminds me a lot of Gronk's style. Now let's just see if he has Gronk's talent.
Yeah, that's a tall order for sure. Tight ends can definitely be safety blankets. This style of offense the Packers have, I think a lot of dump offs. I'm looking forward to see what Aaron Jones can do. So what?
I said, especially for young quarterbacks too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, but he's got the Aaron Rodgers treatment. He's got to sit behind an all-time great for 3 years. I'm not worried about Jordan Love. It's not like a rookie coming in and taking over the reins. Like, this man's seen some NFL time. Aaron Rodgers came in and just flowed immediately when he got in. And I don't think Jordan Love is Aaron Rodgers, but I personally think there's something to be said. And I'm a proponent of this. Getting a quarterback, letting him sit behind a veteran for a couple of years. Not all of them. Guys like Andrew Luck are going to come in, Peyton Manning, they're going to come in and they're just ready. They're just NFL ready. There's nothing you can say or do about that. But there's lots of guys that get brought in, get thrown into a role too quickly, and can't actually learn the sport and learn how to be an NFL quarterback. because, being a running back, the guys hit harder and, they, want to take your head off, and the play calls are longer and maybe a little more complicated. But guess what, Bob? A halfback toss is probably a halfback toss, just like it is everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just okay. You can call it Dragon 13X 762 90210. Call me lately or whatever. But if it's a toss, the guy, you're just going to toss him the ball and he's just supposed to run, right? That's it. That's pretty much the game plan for this guy. So, I think that Panthers made the right call. You got to go Bryce Young. You don't trade up to get one of the guys you could, maybe snag elsewhere. Not a big CJ Stroud fan. Love what the Texans did though. Got Stroud there at 2, their guy, and then traded back up and got Will Anderson. I think that was a dominant performance. Not a big Anthony Richardson guy. I don't know how you think about him, but I'm not too worried about him going to the Colts. I don't think that he's going to be long for the league, at least as a starter, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess I don't know enough about Anthony Richardson to give my thought on that. I just didn't see much of him in college, so I don't know much about him. But let's head on over now. We've got the Packers and Jordan Love agreed to terms on a 1-year extension through 2024 for $13.5 million, guaranteed up to a top of $22.5 million. We just did a good little talk about Jordan Love, so I don't think we really need to talk much more about Jordan Love.
Except for how stupid that is.
Point.
Except for how stupid it was. Yeah. Except for how stupid it was of him. I know it's a more cap friendly, thing for the team, but he gave up $7 million. I mean, it was supposed to be all guaranteed, that whole $20 million. So
yeah,
I mean, I get it. You want to be a team player, but hey, what if that's your last 20? You know what I'm saying? You go out in training camp and you break a leg or tear an Achilles, and your game is never the same. I don't know. $7 million seems to make a long-term difference to me.
If you're going to take a hometown deal, you got to get multiple years on that. You can't take a hometown deal for 1 year. That's not how that works.
I did the quick research.
You got to get 4 or 5 years out of that.
I was talking to Sass, and I did the quick research on Packers season ticket wait list, just to update myself, to be familiar with all of the culture in America. It's currently at 147,000 people. Good news is, Bob, you can will your spot to a chillin' when you die. So no worries.
Oh.
You'll move up along the list, or your bloodline will.
Wow. All right, let's move into our main topic. We're talking the absolutely insane NHL playoffs. I mean, holy shit, what an absolute crazy week this was. We just going through it real quick. We've got Seattle knocking out Colorado in 7. We've got Dallas knocking out Minnesota, which wasn't too surprising. We've got Vegas beating out Winnipeg, which I think we also coming. We got Edmonton beating out the Kings. We had Toronto beating Tampa and getting that monkey off their back. Now they just have to get that second and see if they can actually win a second round game. And then let's see, my site's being a little weird. It's not.
I got you. Florida.
We got Carolina beating the. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to. Florida beats Boston in 7. Carolina beats the Islanders in 6, and New Jersey beats the Rangers in 7. Wow. What a crew, what a motley crew we have for this next round, Bob.
Yeah.
We have Dallas playing Seattle. We have Vegas playing Edmonton, Toronto playing the Panthers, and the Hurricanes playing the Devils. But a little note on that game for you, Bob. I forgot to put it in the news section. Eric Halla is now going to be playing the Hurricanes for the 3rd season in a row in the playoffs after he was traded from them little bad blood, so might get a little chippy out there. He played for the Predators in 21 in the first round series, which is always funny to remember that the Predators had a first game round series against the Carolina Hurricanes. And then the Bruins last year, and then so this year it will be the Devils. So it was pretty vitriol in the Pred series. I can only imagine that 3 years and then going to a team that literally calls themselves the Devils is probably not helped. So
yeah, that's gonna be fun to watch. But I mean, holy shit! Looking through these matchups, what to you? Which we're not gonna go with the most surprising because I think that Florida Boston takes that. Which was the most fun to watch for you?
most fun to watch, I think. I mean, that's very tough. I think that there is. It depends on what kind of fun I was looking for. All right, Bob. If I was looking for extremely chippy hockey, high scoring, you never knew when something was going to break out, it's got to be Toronto, Tampa, right? I mean, that was an exciting series.
Yeah.
I think the only reason it didn't shoot to the top of my mind is because it only went 6 games. I mean, that was
If it had gone one more game, it would have been insane.
There was always something going on in that series. Just I think fun based on the two teams playing each other. How it started, how it kind of ended. New Jersey and New York was still fun. That in-town rivalry, all of the fight videos we got from Devils and Rangers fans, and that was fun. Fun note on their 4 losses that the Rangers took to the Devils, the Rangers scored 2 goals in those games. In those 4 games. So you're not going to win a series like that. Wow. Just unfortunate, but great comeback by the Devils, losing 2 at home and then coming back and winning. That's exciting to me.
Yeah. Because I think she wrote for them really early on in that series.
I think the Kings and Edmonton also kind of had my eye as well as a very exciting series. But what about you, man? You got something specific in mind?
I think that Toronto Tampa Bay matchup was probably the most fun. But I think overall Colorado Seattle. I mean, watching that just absolute amazing performance of just pure hockey. Like that was some damn good hockey.
I'll tell you, man. Game,
it was. I mean, I loved it.
It is very.
Seattle looks dangerous.
I was about to say, it's very reminiscent of a little-known team in this town called the 2017 Predators. That scrappy team that's going to lose this next series. But you look up and somehow they just don't. They just are clicking on all cylinders. And the funny thing is, Bob, we both talked about that a week before the playoffs were set, how Seattle has turned it up, how they're playing, and Colorado turned it up a bit, but only to a certain level. I think that we got kind of enamored with Colorado being the past champions. They were here before. That wasn't really the same team. They lost a lot of their grit. Say what you want about Nathan McKinnon and Rantanen and Landeskog. Landeskog wasn't here, this year. And I think they were missing the one key piece that they needed, and that was Kadri. Kadri gave that team a grit that it let McKinnon and Landeskog and Rantanen play hockey instead of setting the tone of the game. And so I think it's something that we overlooked by just the pure, it's that bias that we get from being other sports fans first that, look, man, it's the number 1 seed. They're gonna win. It's no problems, no questions, no questions asked. So Great series by Seattle. And
Yeah, and
I
for
think that
Seattle,
they can beat Dallas,
and for
man.
Seattle to go out there. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just
Oh,
going to
I
say,
think
I
they
think
can
Seattle
do.
can beat
I
Dallas.
I think Seattle can go in there and win 5, maybe 6. But the way Seattle won that series,
Mhm.
they went into Game 7 like they'd been there before. That was a dominant showing the entire game from start to finish. Colorado had that one goal called back, and you could just feel the air taken out of that arena when that offsides call was made. And the moment that happened, I was like, "Oh, I think Seattle's got this, man." They were controlling the puck. They did not let Georgiev have time to leave the net to get pulled. I mean, they were on that attack late in the game. They weren't just playing defense. They weren't playing for the just to not lose at the end. They were kept their foot on their necks the entire game, and that's the play style that I think is going to get them, I think, all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Any series that you thought was going to be very exciting and ended up just kind of just being blah, just not really much to watch.
I was expecting more from Carolina, New York, to be honest. It was
Yeah.
just kind of, just another day in the office. It felt like for Carolina.
For sure. Carolina kind of battling through a lot of injuries and just still being able to pull it through was great for them. For me, that it was Vegas and Winnipeg because all 5 of the games had the makings of a great series. Just a couple of things just went Vegas's way, and a 5-game series is not super exciting. I mean, it doesn't matter how close those 4 wins were. I mean, it's still a 5-game series, and you still got Tank. I think that Winnipeg exposed a lot of Vegas's weaknesses, though, and I think that Edmonton is going to be able to easily exploit them. Personally, what are your thought process on that series there?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Great analysis, Bob.
Seattle, Edmonton. As much as I would love to see Seattle, Vegas. I mean, you covered everything. I think that Vegas just doesn't have the firepower to keep up with Edmonton. I think Edmonton's just, if those two players, if Draisaitl and McDavid play their game at even 75%, I think Edmonton wins this in 5 games.
Yeah, pardon my French, but Edmonton got their shit together a little bit towards the end of that series. You saw them start playing more of a playoff hockey style rather than, just the way you're able to play in the regular season, a little more loose, a little more, just a different style. They came out after getting beat in a heartbreaker in the beginning, and were able to kind of come back out of that. I like Edmonton and what they're going to be able to do. I think I like their defensive core a little better. You would like to see a little bit more from RNH, though, right? I mean, a guy that had 90+ points this season has a couple of assists in a pretty big series. You'd like to see that boost up as an Edmonton fan. I mean, the Hurricanes Devils series is going to be good. It's going to be low scoring. It's not going to be exciting, per se, but I think it will be a good series. But I think the one I'm most excited for is obviously Toronto, Florida. I mean, just both of those teams had such a good previous series that it's hard for me to say this isn't the most anticipated, right? I mean, we're going to have an Eastern Conference final team between Toronto and the Panthers. The Panthers, it's more impressive that it's the Panthers this year because last year they had such a phenomenal season. And this year it was so mediocre and they barely just scraped into the playoffs. But sometimes that's what you need in hockey. It's about, that hot streak. And Tkachuk is just absolutely dominating right now. Montour is absolutely dominating right now, and Bobrovsky is absolutely tearing it up. He didn't start that series, and he came back in after they were down 2-0 and really, really stepped up. So I don't know what it is with Bobrovsky and beating the hell out of President Cup's winners. But I think that the Tampa Bay Lightning remember that little thing in Columbus, and I'm sure the Boston Bruins will remember this little performance for a long time as well.
Oh yeah. Let's move into joke of the week.
The weird.
Corey Perry.
See, I don't like that. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
Kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
All right, you found this one. What are we looking at?
Florida principal. We're going to a Florida woman. Florida principal resigns after writing $100,000 check to a scammer posing as Elon Musk. Oh, yes, you've heard correctly. This principal was a principal of school children in Florida. I'm sure she's been an outspoken advocate of the book bannings, but she got tricked into giving $100,000 to a scammer that said that he was Elon Musk. So I have so many questions, but I'm a very smart lady, well-educated. I fell for a scam, McGee said. You are acknowledging what we're all thinking, right? Why would a literal, one of the top 3 richest people on earth, just able to go to a bank a little over a year ago, say, "What up? My name is Elon Musk, and I want to buy Twitter." And they gave him $44 billion to buy Twitter. But you think that Elon Musk is coming to a Floridian principal and is like, "Hey, I'm run up on it. I'm coming to some hard times, and I need $100K. It's me, your friend Elon Musk. You've probably heard of me. I'm a pretty big deal." She's like, this is what I need to do. Are you reading through it? Have you found anything that would make it better?
So, I found some stuff that makes it worse. I found an article from a different news from the local news source from that area, like the local NBC news station. Couple things. She said that she was groomed and tried to play it off like the person was grooming her as if she was like a child. She was just scammed. Second of all, this person did not claim to be Elon Musk, but claimed to be Elon Musk's right-hand man.
Oh, that was how he got her.
She had been saying for years that she wants to get a hold of Elon Musk to her friends so that he can invest in the school, and she thought that finally that her prayers have been answered when she got an email about this. So she'd been spouting this out to a lot of people, and someone was clearly like, "Oh, I know how to get this one."
Yeah.
This isn't as even if she thought that it just went down the vine.
This isn't even an Indian, scam company or whatever. They're not remote. This is her neighbor, dude. Her neighbor has been hearing for years about how she just wants to get in touch with Elon Musk, and he's like, "I've had enough. He's like, "I'll bet you." He was sitting there, he's drinking with his buddies. He's like, "I'll bet you 50,000 of the 100,000 I'm going to get from my neighbor that I could get her to give me 100,000." Like, what? I thought it was. So is it the school's money? Because, yes. According to McGee, she scammed. That's so. Oh my God.
Yes. So you use the school's money, and she reportedly believed the person she made the check out to was Musk's right-hand man, matching funds with this guy, and he was supposed to give $6 million to the school for $100,000. She also only had the authority to write a check up to $50,000 out of the account, but no more without board approval. Fortunately, the school's manager got wind and stopped the check before it cleared. She originally was not going to resign, but it came out that this principal had been fostering a highly toxic work environment for years, and 3 other administrators said that they were going to leave if rather than work for her any longer. And her husband resigned. Her husband was a teacher at the school. The board chair said this was the only possible outcome.
Yeah. So, I mean, what sense would that make? If Relon Musk, that's right, what I have to imagine Elon Musk's right-hand man's name is, Relon. If he was coming to you, why wouldn't he just give you the money? What does he need? It's administrative type of fees. I gotta get my money unfrozen is the thing. I got the $6 million. It's sitting there in the account. I just need the 100.
It's tied up in space.
I just need the 100 to get to it. I just get access to it. It's like an entry fee. You know what I'm saying? But there's $6 million in there. So the 100,000 is nothing. You're up 5.9 mil. Think about that. If you're all right, look, you're at a board meeting. You're sitting there, you're at a board meeting, and you could say, hey, I've got all of our money and it's all accounted for. No problem. Or you could say, yo, what up? We're down 100. Don't stress it though, because we got 5.9 milli coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's easy money. I'm making that sell 10 out of 10 times. What a joke.
So,
man.
you know what would be crazy though? It's just because I'm on Twitter. Would it be that unbelievable if a week from now Elon Musk tweets out about the failed opportunity this school had to get money from him?
Oh my gosh! He like posts the combo. He had my right hand man. He was out there. He's doing the Lord's work. See, he's like, this is why I am the way I am. Is because I try to give away $6 million, and people are like, no, like. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Unfortunately,
I tried telling people that my bank is on the dark side of the moon, and so there's administration fees when the moon's on the wrong side.
I would not be surprised at all if he did this to save a clearly whacked out Florida woman. He would do it in a heartbeat, dude. He'd say, "We were gonna do it."
Stand as well.
We were gonna give him the money. Yeah. We were gonna give him. What a joke.
Let's move into what are you binging? It is the start of the month. I don't know if I've done this before. I've been watching a lot of QI. It's a British show, like all my the shows I love, British panel shows. It's comedians on a panel show. They
You've definitely done this before.
Asked like trivia questions. I've done this one before. Okay, I do a lot of the British panel shows.
It's okay. You're allowed to do it
so
twice.
Many seasons. So the way each season is a letter of the alphabet, and each season has like 24 episodes where they do like a topic starting with the letter of that season. So like I think I'm on series M right now. And I think they actually start the series over again at A at some point. So there was many episodes.
Horrible, Bobby. I'm not gonna lie to you. Do you? But I'm out on it. I have been binging. Really lots of basically just Xbox. Red Dead Redemption 2. I've been playing a game, Empire of Sin, some NHL. I've been playing all over the place. But Red Dead Redemption 2, been putting some good hours into that. Me and my horse, Pony Soprano. And then I've been checking out this 60 Days In show that I found. It's an A&E show, but I think it's on Hulu or something. But basically, I'm only in season 2, and so it's been a single jail so far. But they have regular civilians like go in the jail and like gather information so they can give it to the sheriff, and not necessarily like on specific people, but just like conditions of the jail, like what can be improved, that kind of thing. And so it's pretty interesting, cool. I was always a big fan of MSNBC's Lock Up Raw. You ever see that? back in the day? I mean, they used to play that shit all the time.
I have not.
What? You never saw Lockup? Like San Quentin or whatever?
Let's move into what's no, I haven't.
My God, dude. You gotta get
I have not seen it, but I'll have to check it out. I'll have to find it and check it out. Yeah. Let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right, so this has been an issue. I might have done this one before as well, but this has been an issue
I don't think you
for
have.
a long time. That is, when you go into a supermarket like Walmart, Kroger, Publix, those big chain stores, and their beer aisle is not cold. They just have beer sitting out. So if I'm on my way somewhere, and I'm assuming because some Walmarts are cold, some Krogers are cold, I get to the one in Newport, and I got to get my case of beer, and it's room temp. I don't like that. I need my beer cold so I can start drinking it when I get to my destination. We got ice, but we also had a bunch of crawfish in the cooler, so I didn't have room in the cooler because I assumed I was like,
crawfish are out there. You risk people, Bobby. You risk people getting sick. That's not on you, okay? You gotta get the beer cold. I'm not gonna be able to make this crawfish if I don't have the beer cold. But I don't know what you want from me. It's a catch-22 here, Bob.
Yeah. Luckily, I have complained about this before to my wife's aunt, who took that into consideration, and the day before got me some beer and put it in the fridge so that there was cold beer when I got there for me.
So, what you're saying is this has obviously been a complaint for you, Bobby. It's literally been solved for you. Your complaint was your complaint was something that wasn't even a problem for you. That's against the spirit.
But it could have been.
It could have been, but that's against the spirit of the game, dude. It's got to be something that you complain to the end of the earth. And honestly,
it was a problem for me for 20 minutes, the 20-minute drive there.
I said all that to you to basically just steal what's snapping your stick for my own. You pointed this out. You pointed this out to me this weekend. We were texting. But it was so true. We have 3 playoff games on Saturday. We're not, only thing you're competing against is the NFL draft. Day 3 of the NFL draft, I might add. And you have 3 playoff games 1 hour apart starting at 5:30. Like, what was that? Like, that was ridiculous. Like, not even a 2:30 game or anything. Give us it very easily should have been a 2:30 game, a 4:30 game, and a 6:30 game, right? I mean, easy.
Or even like a noon, 3, and maybe.
I can see not wanting a noon playoff game. You know what I'm saying? You want to catch eyes. And so, it's not football where people are going to probably wake up for it. It's just got to be on. So I would say, I would even be okay with doing 4:30, 6:30, and 8:30. You know what I'm saying? As long as there's 2 hours apart, I don't care if there's a little crossover. I get that there's going to be some crossover, but I just don't understand why it's got to be right on top of.
And the worst part is them delaying the start of the other game because it's overtime.
Because it's OT.
If you don't want to delay the other game, just spread them out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. You had this chance. We didn't. We could have done the delay that we built in via time. we could have just auto delayed it. And you know what Bobby? You know what happens?
This isn't
when you
like March
delay
Madness where one team has to come on and play.
Well, and you know what happens when you delay it, Bob? I'm no fan of commercials, but I would have to imagine that ESPN is fans of commercials, and so it seems like you get more commercials by making me sit in front of the TV longer.
Yeah.
Anyway, stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right, guys, thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back again next week. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been another episode of the Pucks Out Podcast. See you all again next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.